and you come here and you say, I was baptized through what? Immersion. Then that one you can be received after the approval of what? Yes, please. Yes.
To what extent they have been implemented in our setup? Because one thing is, as we accept, especially the third one particularly, it can bring a lot of conflicts. And that's why some people may want to wonder, then if that is the case, why then do we baptize people who come from these other churches who baptized by immersion? I'm sure somebody will ask that question. But I want to say that ili tusije tukaleta hiyo confusion, the church still adheres to baptism if you come from those other churches, that you have to be baptized.
Is it clear? Hama, it's confusion. You had something? Yes.
Okay, she's just answered me, because when I came here, I was coming from Pentecostal and I was baptized by immersion. And then I was told in the SDA that is not known. I had to go through the entire process, you know. And number two, we're talking of the Catholic through sprinkling. To us, that is not, but to them, that is their baptism, and that is what they know. So I don't think we can condemn them for that, because that is what they know and that is what they believe in. That is their problem.
Maybe it was not clear. We are not condemning them, but we have a procedure, our procedure, and what we call baptism. For us, it is immersion. But we are not, that is their right. Tunaelewana hapo? Ele.
I know we are following what is in the Bible, and apart from that, we take them through the happiness class, all the baptismal class, where we take them through our fundamental beliefs. They are very important to give you a foundation so that you can understand and make a decision. So we are not condemning anyone. We have our fundamental beliefs, and they are taught to the baptismal class before we hand them over to baptism.
Is it clear? You had something? And by the way, we don't force anybody. We don't. This is a personal request. And there is a guideline, which is a church manual, which can guide us on that.
Yeah, Elder, just to add, I think this really has been a very insightful Bible study, but you started by taking us through the book of 1 Corinthians, talking about our God being a God of order. And because of that order, every aspect of the procedures given must also be done in a very orderly manner. Otherwise, then, if it is left open, then you lose out the concept. I bring to our attention in the church manual, page 44, which provides for the mode of baptism. And this is what it says. The church believes in baptism by immersion and accepts into membership only those who have been baptized in this manner. And it makes reference to the fundamental beliefs of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So that is really critical in terms of now joining the Adventist faith. Because remember, before you are baptized, you take vows. And that is going to be the most crucial, that you are going to abide by those fundamental beliefs. And I remind all of us, in the just concluded camp meeting, Pastor spoke to the issue about honoring our vows. Thank you.
The church manual does not contradict itself. There is always a reverence for any rule in the church manual. There is a reverence. And it is not another Bible or another 10 commandments. This is a guide to guide the church so that we can have order in what? In the church of God. Let's go. How do you transfer a member? You just go and write a letter. How do you transfer a church member? From to. Incoming and outgoing. How do you transfer? Yes. Hawajui, maybe sasa wamenyamaza ama wanajua. How do you transfer a church member? Through what? Who does the transfer? Yes. Amesema aje? Church board. Church board meeting. And church business. Amejaribu, si ndio? Nyinyi mnanyamaza na amejaribu. That's good. Yeah. Yes. As a church member, I have to initiate by requesting. It is not a must. Si ndio? Hujarasimishwa, si ndio? This is your choice. Where do you go to? Yes, we initiate to who? To the church clerk. Who is our church clerk? Elder, sasa unawaambia na labda wajui. Yes. Who is our church? Who is our church clerk? Sasa hata hiyo Mwakenya mmepewa. Rotha, do you know our church clerk? Rotha, jui? Yes, sijui ni Mongeli ama ni nani? Unaona yeye ako kwa ana kumu na tulitoka huko kitambo. Umejaribu yenyewe? Umejaribu good kuliko wale who is our church clerk? Yes, Pet. Daktari Sophie Bironga. That is what daktari amesema. You initiate your transfer. Na kuna watu wengi hapa. There are so many people who have been year out, year in. And they are Sabbath school members. And yet they are baptized. How many months are you supposed to stay in a church being a Sabbath school member? 6 months. 3 months. If you know that you are going somewhere to stay for 3 months, you request for what? Your transfer. Does it cost you anything? No. The church clerk will not ask you for the stamp. Ati nipatie pesa. Sio, unajua hii si kazi ya chief. Ati nipatie pesa ya karamu. You just go to the church clerk, you initiate, and then the transfer is made. Yes, you? She is asking, why should you transfer your membership? Yes, Elder. Why should I transfer my membership?
Elder, and I seek just to correct. In the revised version, it is 6 months. Not 3 months. The old version had 3 months. But the 2015, it is 6 months. And what is anticipated, or what the church manual provides, if you're going to stay in a place for longer than 6 months, you need to move with your name. Now, why? You cannot effectively serve in the congregation if your membership, remember, probably the elder will cover, for you to be given any leadership responsibility in church, you must be a full member of that church. So if you stay in a place for 6 months or more than 6 months, it is enough for you to make your contribution effectively in that church. And that's why sometimes when we go to the nominating committee, you have very good members, very responsible members, and very constructive members, but their membership, they are Sabbath school members. So their membership is not in that church. So by church manual, then, they are not able to be given certain responsibilities in that church.
Is it clear? Not only being given responsibility, the church to take care of you spiritually. Tunaelewana hapo? So that the church to care, if you feel that maybe you don't want to transfer your name because it is your right, you can come with an introduction letter from your local church introducing you to the church where you are going, so that we can take care of you, the church can take care of you, but cannot give you responsibility. Tunaelewana hapa? If you feel that you cannot transfer your membership, just go with an introduction letter to that church. Like now you are going to overseas. Let the church give you an introduction letter to that church where you will be for that period, and then they will take care of you. They will understand that you are a church, a 70-day Adventist. They will take care of you. Usije ukaenda bila barua if you don't want transfer. Tumeelewana? You initiate, and then the church clerk will take your name to the church board. Tunaelewana? To the church board. Then the church board will discuss your name, and then to do what? Recommend for what? For transfer, sindio? Or incoming or going. And in case they have issues with your name, then they will not grant you what? A transfer. Until wamekushughulikia. Tunaelewana kufikia hapo? Is there any question? Yes, Beth? Are there incidents where the church can deny transfer? Elder? Yes?
Yes, there are instances where the church may deny you transfer. I'll give a point in case. I want to use Elder Lucas. He's senior, so he won't take offense. So I know he will not take any offense. Assuming Elder Lucas serving here moves to another place and starts doing things outside the provisions of our faith. For instance, he decides now to marry another wife. That's why I said, Daktari, forgive me, he's my friend, so I can use him as an example. You won't. So The essence of the transfer then is that you still, confirmation that you are still living by the standards of the faith. So if then the church is aware that he has gone off the provisions of the fundamental beliefs and the faith of the Adventist church, then the church has a right to be able to decline granting of such a transfer.
Is it clear? Listen, the church board does not grant a transfer. Is it correct? Eh? Mnanielewa hapo? It is the church business. Ni wewe. The church board only recommends to the church business for your incoming or for the outgoing. Tumeelewana kufikia hapo. But in case there is an issue, like now there is a member whose name has to be transferred from Kisii to Kahawa Sukari Church. Yes, we can approve here. Lakini kumbe ulifanya vituko huko ukatoroka hapa. Those the church board members, the other side will not grant you what? The transfer with reasons. They will indicate the reasons to our church because of A, B, C, D. Huyo jamaa alikuja hapo kama ameoa. Si ndio? So don't. Those are the reasons. And then we will be sorry for you. We will tell you now, this is the position. And it is upon you to decide. You can either go back to the baptism class if there is an issue that you need to. So, yes. Yes. Once we also review, we will inform the other church that we have either rejected the transfer or we have accepted. There is a form ambayo iko na church clerk na inaandika jina lako, majina yote, your names, the minutes of the church board, the minutes of the business, and then your name is transferred officially now. Then you become a church board members. There are some there are some things that you cannot do. Like now, you cannot be. Saa ingine unajua hamjuangi. When we are supposed, when we have business here, if you are not a church member, you need to excuse yourself. Sindio? Yes. You need to excuse yourself. You need not to be told. If you are not a church member, you cannot vote. Sindio? You cannot vote in any discussion. You can be there, but you cannot vote. And you are not supposed. Zingine wengine naonanga, you are a Sabbath school member, you just assume, wazee wakiuliza, wanaokubali wote, na wewe unainua mkono juu. You are not a church member. You have no right to vote until after your name, you become a church member in the church. Kufikia hapo. Before I go to another thing, so that yambiwa by 5 nimemaliza. Any comment regarding transfer? Yes. She's asking that if she decide to go to Uganda for 2 years without a transfer, is there any problem there? You are disadvantaging yourself because you need to work for the Lord. And you cannot be given a responsibility in a church without being a member of that church. Tunaelewana? You understand that? So,
you can only be there under Sabbath school status. You come, listen actively and all that, but you cannot be nominated to serve in a leadership position while you are there, then why should you disadvantage yourself that way? If you know that you'll be, it doesn't cost anything. And if you want to move back, you still, wherever you are moving, you request your name to be transferred there. It's free.
Is it clear? It doesn't cost you anything to transfer your name. Just go to the church clerk, tell the church clerk, I want my name to go with my name back to Uganda, where you are going. You will just be granted, and you go. When you feel like coming back, you come back with the same transfer. So, any other? Yes, my brother.
Yes, happy Sabbath. It was just a comment on what I usually used to see as one of the challenges when it came to transferring student names from local churches. There were some who are not finding it easy. The question that our sister addressed, now the context was not the one elder is giving. Yeah, because for that one maybe it is understood, but there were some churches which were holding the names simply because they were saying, now that you are a student, we don't have to release you. Just go to school. After school, you will come. And in school, we needed their names. So in that one, I don't know whether it is it's also allowed that when the church business sees that your name going is like losing you, is it supposed to keep it for you to still stay in the church? And then there were also some other reasons, like if I'm a leader in my local church, I decide to transfer my name maybe to a given church. Should it really be a big deal of you holding the name, because such were some of the reasons that those students were giving? Yes, you can help on that.
The church has no authority to retain my name unless it is on issues of spiritual matters. Tunaelewana hapo? Unless it is a spiritual matter. If I've requested my name, you see, I'm sorry, makanisa mengine ya huko nyumbani, they don't even know about the church manual. An elder there, I'm sorry to say, an elder can tell you, I am the moving church manual. If you see me, you know I am the manual. So what are you telling us? And that's all. But according to the church manual, the church has no right to retain a member's name. Nanielewa? Unless on issues of spiritual what? Oh, you see now, others they will say, you are our, wewe ni mtu yetu hapa nyumbani, why do you want to? That name is not helping anything. As per the church manual, if you wish to transfer any time your name, you have a right to do so. And the church has no authority to retain your name unless it is a spiritual matter and has gone through the process up to the business. Na business ikasema hiyo jina isifanya nini? Isiende. That's all. Is it clear? Tunaelewana hapo? Yes, Elder.
Just to add, I think, you realize that even sometimes some of us church leaders, have not made reference to the church manual. And that's why you start hearing of those cases. The church manual is very clear. Now, if your church behaves that way, I think earlier we talked about profession of faith. Now, that is where it comes in under clause 3 of profession of faith, where now you can notify the church if, for example, you want to join Sukari and your local church has refused to release your name, then the church board, upon investigating those reasons, can now recommend to the business meeting so that they now adopt your name and now you become an official member of Sukari. So that's why the church also saw, the church leadership also knew such challenges might arise. And I think that's why Elder said that the church manual does not contradict itself. It makes provisions for you still to be able to serve. But I also need to say that it is also meant to prevent mischief. I still want to go back there. For instance, I know I gave an example. Another example, you move to a different location, but then in that new location, you don't go to church. Probably you just appear during sermon, and before immediately sermon ends, you are off. So nobody knows you in that congregation. And yet you want to transfer your membership. So those are now the circumstances that now come into play. And that's why the congregation must always take a vote. Because if there's a problem, it is not possible, by and large, for the entire congregation not to be aware about something that really is very critical. But of importance is for us to know that these are not mitigative measures that are meant to keep people away from church, but to bring order, so that order in the church, so that whenever we transact God's business, we are doing it remember, first and foremost, we are all sinners who have come to seek God's face and glory, right? So that's why there's need to be that order, because we remain human. And so where human beings are, then order has to be there.
A process has to be followed.
Okay, Hamjambo. I think when a church has an issue with your name, then they have to remove your name through a church board. Now in a scenario where someone has requested a transfer of his name, and there has never been a church board to remove his name from the church register, then should we bring this issue at the time when this person now wants to transfer his name?
You are talking about removing your name from the church register. Madam, you have something to say?
Good afternoon, church. You know, I've seen cases where a child was born in Nyamira. He was baptized. He went to high school in Kamagambo. He didn't ask for his name. From church Kamagambo, he goes to Bugema or Kenyatta University. No transfer. Then it comes to marriage or something. Sometimes even government jobs, you seek for a letter from your church. What all those places, nobody knows, because he was not a member to any of those. Then when that comes, he said, no, I need a letter for this and that. Then the parents now go to the pastor at home. Of course, they are given letters. A parent goes, not the child. This church which is giving the recommendation does not know how this child has been walking all those 20 years. But the parents say, no, you know, he was baptized, blah, blah, all that stuff, and is given. You know, these transfers of names is for your security. Because at any point, when you are somewhere, there should be a church which is shepherding you, taking care of you, not because monitoring, but to take care of you. Where do you give your tithe? All those years, you are moving here and there. Because the church which is serving you, that's where you should give your tithe.
Amina? Is it clear now? I did not get Jembe's question. He was asking, I did not get it clear to me.
He says, Jembe, I heard you. You are saying you have requested for a name, then they refuse, isn't it? Then they strike it off the register. That one is not allowed. Eh? Yeah, that's correct. That's. Let him ask again.
Nimeuliza hivi, kuna wakati ninataka jina langu liwe transferred. Na kulingana na church manual, when a church has an issue with my name, definitely they call a church board, alafu wapitishe jina langu litolewe. Then sasa inasema mtu ameitisha sasa request ya jina lake liwe transferred, alafu anaambiwa my name cannot be transferred. Na hakuja kuwa na church board ya kutoa jina langu kwa church register. Is that really fair?
It is wrong. You cannot, unajua, the thing is, you cannot write a letter, request without, for transfer, and then they remove without the due process. It has to be done. The due process has to be done from the church board to the business. That is when your name can be. And your name is removed if it is a transfer after you have informed the other church, if it is an outgoing transfer. If it is an incoming, once your name is gone to the business, that is when the other church is informed. Now you can remove that name. We have received this member. Is it clear now?
What Mzee Jembe is asking is simple. He's a member here and he's gone out. And he stayed maybe for a while. Now the point, there has never been an issue. But now the point when he has used from the other church now seeking for the transfer of his member is when he is told we can't transfer your name because of some disciplinary issues that were never raised while he was here. I think that is his question. The question is this, huh? He's a member, let's say he's a member of Sukari, and then he decides to go to Lamu, right? Now, while in Lamu, he decides to send a request for his name through the church clerk or the procedures, huh? And then Sukari tells Lamu, we cannot release Jembe's name on disciplinary grounds. But there was never any process in Sukari that subjected him to a disciplinary that would warrant the church not to release his name.
Oh, now it is clear. Sasa, wacha niseme huyu kijana A. Kijana A amejua amedunga mimba msichana B. Huyo ameelekea huko Murang'a. Kufika Murang'a yeye ni mtakatifu kama Joseph. Anasema niitishie jina langu kahawa sukari. Inawezekana? Mnanielewa hapo? Maybe there is something that you did that this board cannot recommend for your transfer. And you are not available for discipline. Tunaelewana hapo? Where do they get you for discipline if you are not available, elder? So they do it in your absentia. Emereweka sasa? Is it clear now? Is that what you are? Yes. Then lastly, I want us to go to issues of discipline. Is it right for the church to discipline a member? Is it right? Is it not judging others? Condemning? Yes, Elder.
I think although the Bible says that all of us have sinned and fallen short of the will of God, there are incidences where a member blatantly disregard the laid down regulations. And we say that God is a God of order. There are sins that you do blatantly and then in disregard of everybody according to the church manual. So that member who goes against the church manual or the regulations, blatantly disregarding the laid down regulation, even when that person has been given time to prove himself, and he or she is not able. So in that circumstances, we may remove that name from the register, but with a lot of regret, and taking into account that that person also, we rebuke in love, not that we are condemning that person, so that we can give that person another chance to do what? To come back again to the Lord.
Is it clear? Our church manual, page 56, says, general principles, the Bible and the spirit of prophecy set forth in clear, unmistakable language, the solemn responsibility that rests upon the people of God to maintain their purity, integrity, and spiritual favor. If members grow indifferent or drift away, the church must seek to reclaim them for the Lord. Is that clear? We are not disciplining you like the outside there do. But the church has a responsibility to reclaim you back. Tunaelewana hapo? We understand there? The church has a responsibility to reclaim this member, like now in Matthew 18:15-18, assuredly I say to you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in what? In heaven. So the church has a responsibility to do what? To discipline a member. And how do we do it? Kuna mipangilio ya kusaidia mshiriki. Kitambo mshiriki akuje kutolewa ushirika, kuna mipangilio ambayo iko imewekwa, si ndio? Like now wanasema, if the brothers are trespass against thee, Christ declares, go and tell him his fault between thee and him what? Alone. What does it mean? Tumekosana na Elder Steve. Tukutane, tuende tuongee, tusameane. Does it go to the church board? Tunapeleka kwa church board? Tunapeleka kwa business? No. I've done a public sin. Nimekutana hapa mnanikuta mimi, si ndio? Mlevi kabisa, Ela iko nini? Do you understand? That is a public what? I've got one for the road, si ndio? Elder, hapa tu naenda kwangu. Even I can come here. Yes, that is a public sin. The church will assist me to come back. Tunaelewana hapo? Yes, the church will assist me to come back. Human beings are whose property? God's property. You are a property for our Savior. And that is why he died for us. So you cannot claim. Ndio naona mtu akitolewa ushirika, namwambia asikuje kanisa. Kanisa hii ni yako. Ni ya nani? It belongs to who? To God. How is it done? Process ya, let's say now, to drop a name. Initially we were using the name disfellowship. Now the current one you use, you drop a name from the church register. What is the process?
It comes to the board, and then you recommend. Because there are some members, for example, you have not seen for a year, 2 years, you have not seen that person. Nobody knows what that person is. So you can't trace that person. So these are some areas where you can remove from the register. For 3 years, 4 years, you have not seen that person. You don't know where he went. So what do you do with that person? You just remove from the register. That's why sometimes it's good for us to review the register frequently, so that we can follow up. Our members all. We can know their contact. If any one of us knows where so and so is, we get in contact with him. Sometimes we communicate with that person. But if we are not able, then that is the time now we just come and review the register and then remove the names.
That's why the Madam alisema it's good for you to inform the church where you are. If you go outside of this country for 5 years and this church does not know where you are, then there is a time when we review the names. We need to account for each and every member of this church where you are. The church has a responsibility. And then umekaa miaka 5, 6, 7, 10, hakuna mtu anajua where you are. Then I'm sorry, the church board will recommend to the board, to the business, that your name be dropped from the register. Another one, you have done a public sin. Umefanya dhambi ambayo inajulikana. Inafanya nini? It is a public sin. There is a procedure. It is upon the church pastor and the church elders to come to you and speak to you and make you understand that what you have done have tainted your relationship with you, with God. So there is need for you to amend your relationship. And the only way that you can amend your relationship with God is through baptism. If it is a public sin. Mnanielewa hapo? Nimeoa wake wawili. Si mnajua, mnaniona? So that is the process. And there are some people ambao wanasema ataanza kukuhubiria, aseme hata Abraham alikuwa na wake wawili. Akatae. The process is we inform you. You accept. It is then taken to the church board for discussion. And in the church board discussion, it is not the time to assassinate you. It is not easy. And it is not something that the church will enjoy when seated down discussing a member who has gone astray. The church manual says you do it with tears. Unanielewa hapo? Yaani unafanya mukilia, mukijiuliza why? You don't have to enjoy. Sasa tumempata tunamnyoa ndio tutamumaliza, si ni kweli? It's not supposed to be that. It is something, yani mnafanya single upande kwa Kiswahili, si ndio? You don't do it because you are enjoying. It is just because you want to assist this member who has gone astray. Then the discussion is done there, but not to murder this person. Mnanielewa hapo? Yes. It's not to murder. It is to resuscitate this person. So that because tomorrow we need this person to come back. Then the recommendation is done to what? To the business. During this time, the member is also informed in writing from the church board that this is the recommendation of the church board, and is given even time to come to the church board. It's in you. Yes, you are given time to come to the church board and present yourself and argue your case if you want. Even in the business, you are given time. You are notified that this date, we are going to discuss your name in the business. So it's not be done maliciously. Yaani haifanyi mkiwa na nia ya kuumiza huyu mtu. Mnafanya mkiwa na nia ya kusaidia nani? To assist this member. Then it is taken to the business and discussed. Sijui kama imeeleweka. Business, kuna wakati ambapo discipline, you have to take it very carefully so that it cannot divide the church. There are some people, wanajua they have done something, and then they go and look for followers. It can divide the church into two. The other group for, and the other group against. So it has to be done carefully without hurting anybody at all. Then, after the names have been dropped, it is the responsibility of the church elders, the church elder, the nurture and the retention to take care of that member and make sure that member is back. It is not the time that you see that member as an enemy. It is the time that you sympathize and pray for that member so that he can come back. Sinimalizia hapo leo. Kama kuna mtu wa kuongeza aongeze. Elder, you want to add something?
I'm asking a question.
Yes.
Suppose you differ with somebody and then that person goes to the court of law, and then the court says that that person should be reinstated. What happens in that instance?
What happened? Who is a lawyer here? Leo tuna Edward. Thorough investigation. Do you understand, Elder? Thorough investigation had to be done, like the issues of adultery. You have to be very careful. Mtu anaweza sema ya kwamba you have, what do we call it? Umeniharibia jina inaitwaje? Character what? Yes, and you will be taken to court. Character assassination. There must be proper evidence to show that this person did A, B, C, D. It is not an issue. Si kitu ambao mutakibiria hivyo. Dropping a name si kitu ambao muna enjoy as if it is kukura what? Popcorns. You have to be very careful. What the elder is saying is very true. You have to be very careful when you are doing it. Thorough investigation imefanywa, mumemzungumzia, wengine wanakataa, si ndio? Yes. But let me tell you, you can take the Church of God to court. Consequences are there. Consequences are there. Wengine wanasema nitawapeleka kotini. But remember, consequences are what? Utafuna. I did not sikukumbuka. We also have another lawyer here, but I hope I have answered the question. Thorough investigation has to be done before. Hii mambo ya kusema nilimuona, alafu ukija kuulizwa nilisikia. Be very careful. Be very careful. Ukiulizwa uanze kusema nilisikia, ni fulani alisema, inaenda chain, si ndio? Then yes. So you have to be very careful if you are dealing with a member and you are dropping a name. Yes, Mama Mercy. Hiyo sijui elder ama you are answering them.